topic today is silence. And we have been having a great discussion on the many dimensions of silence and the advantages and the disadvantages as well. Now we're going to get into one area of silence which is used as a weapon. It is completely weaponized, and it is the silent treatment, right? Which is the difference between giving people space to calm down and giving somebody the silent treatment. Adia Tasneem is going to explain this to us.
Yeah, so many nuances. I firstly to understand what it is, and very rightly you said giving space to someone. So there's a difference between taking space and making someone feel invisible.
Before you
Yes.
proceed, let's quickly take a caller.
Let's
Radio
do that.
Azad, you're on the air.
जी आयशा एंड तस्नीम
Yes.
मैं सुन रही थी जो तस्नीम ने क्वेश्चन पूछे हैं
जी
दे आर वेरी वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन एंड पहला जो है कि आर यू अफ्रेड
जी
उसमें भी दो किस्म का फियर है आई थिंक वन फियर इज द रिएक्शन के आई डोंट नो द अदर पर्सन विल गेट वायलेंट or the situation will get so bad that you won't be able to handle it. That fear also, then you
Yeah.
get silent. Then the other fear is that, which is, and I'm struggling with that also, that कि अगर आप कहेंगे कोई बात और उस बंदे को भी ये पता है कि that बात जो है makes sense and it is right, but you are silent because you are afraid of losing that person, even though you know that you are one of the reasons that person is not going ahead in the life. You have made the life for that person so comfortable, but you are still afraid of confronting that person and because see, that's the struggle. You want that person to be successful and everything, but then you are also afraid that if that person leaves you, you might not see him for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and how you are going to able to handle that, and is it worth or not? For that kind of fear को face करने के लिए do we need to be strong enough to let go of that? Or how should that be handled in a silent way also? Because one आपने बात की है लेकिन उसका असर नहीं हो रहा, then you are silent about that also because there is a bigger risk and you don't want to take that risk. You are afraid of taking that. So I don't know if I'm making any sense or not, but that is my question on that one.
All right, let us figure it out.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Shalaji. That's why exactly as I said, it's like sometimes you're afraid of something, like the consequences of that thing or someone, and rightfully so. Sometimes if that is violence, then obviously you're afraid. In this situation, I feel practice the pause would be my answer, because when your safety is threatened for whatever reason with the situation or with someone, where speaking up for whatever reason feels unsafe, not only because there's physical violence involved, but it just feels emotionally unsafe or in any which way unsafe, then you need to practice the pause and assess your situation and be in a position of advantage or power, so to speak, where at least your safety will not be compromised when you choose to actually speak up. But speak up you must. It's just that in that moment, safety first. And therefore, I hope that answers your question, that if that means that in that moment you need to bite your tongue and stay quiet, to wait for another opportune moment where you feel physically, mentally, emotionally safe to be able to say your spiel, whatever that may be, then practice the pause.
Very important. All right. Going back to what is the silent treatment?
तो जो मैं बोल रही थी कि there's a difference between taking space and making someone feel invisible. जो silent treatment करता है, तो पहले let's understand कि silent treatment है क्या. Deliberately avoiding someone, not talking to someone, ignoring someone, deliberately,
Stonewalling.
stonewalling them. It's used many times, at least it's my life, it's used to punish me, to manipulate me, to control or express anger indirectly, कि
Mhm.
because तुमने ये किया है अब तुम्हारी सजा ये है कि मैं तुमसे बात नहीं करूं.
Mm.
So, in that sense, I feel when you're using silent treatment to punish someone, manipulate, control, or express anger indirectly, it takes a very unhealthy turn because there is no solution. You've just chosen to dictate, and it's not the healthy way for conflict resolution at all. Because if you want to take space, then there is communication involved in that. You need to tell the person that, hey, as of right now, I'm upset. I need an hour. I need a week. I need a month to calm down, whatever it is. But we need to talk after that. And then thereafter, you need to come back and you need to finish that, what you said you need time for. So being silent is, how should I say, is temporary. Whereas silent treatment is indefinite.
Mhm.
You don't know. A silent treatment person doesn't usually tell you that I'm going to stay silent with you for X number of days. You're just punished and you don't know how long that punishment will last for. So healthy space aims to resolve, whereas silent treatment aims to punish.
Exactly. And it makes them feel guilty. It's almost like somebody has physically abused you.
Yeah, and
That's
it
the
just leaves you
consequence.
guessing, right?
Mhm.
It's just, again, there's anxiety over there. You're unable to figure out what the other person is going through, so your assumptions have again hit through the roof.
Yeah,
So
anxiety.
space creates safety.
Mhm.
Silence without explanation creates insecurity.
And what do they expect the victim will feel like? Compliance. They want them to apologize. They want them to feel deep distress. They want them to suffer. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think all of this, everything that you said,
mhm.
basically that feeling of control, na? That I am the one who will dictate this relationship. So
Mhm.
therefore now you are walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Now you are insecure, you are overthinking, you are doubting yourself, you are anxious, your self-esteem has taken a beating, you're feeling rejected or abandoned, and that's what I wanted for you.
Hmm. And there's like this emotional exhaustion, which
Absolutely.
happens.
And mostly, I think, at least when that phase of life and the person I have in my head as I think about this, it was simply to blame. It's like a blame game. It's like where
Hmm.
you're not really, there's no healthy conflict resolution. You're just being blamed for something which you actually sometimes don't even know what you've done wrong.
Maybe it's even for disagreement.
Yeah, because many times I feel during those days I didn't know what I'd done.
Hmm.
So I used to think back and say, oh, was it that day? Was it that 1 week ago? Oh, was it over that lunch thing? Oh, was it over that office email thing? I didn't know what I had done wrong because
Right.
that was also not communicated. It was just shut door. So you don't know what you've messed up on.
Mm.
Or even if you have, many times it may not even be me at all.
Yeah. And I think silent treatment exploits a basic human need, which is the need to be acknowledged
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
heard, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are instances where silent treatments can backfire,
Yeah.
right? And when you're given this time, sometimes the victim realizes that they're tired of being dealt with like this. They're tired of these patterns. It's not healthy, and they deserve respectful communication. So that is one thing, that these patterns can cause that person to think and say, hey, this is something I'm not choosing in my life anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second thing is, prolonged silences can cause and create emotional distance, and the relationship then falls apart, right?
Yeah, because trust erodes, right? How
Trust
how do I
erodes.
trust somebody who chooses to treat me disrespectfully, because I feel as angry as a couple may be, as two best friends may be, as whoever brothers sisters may be, बेसिक रिस्पेक्ट तो आपको देनी ही है ना इंसान को, जो जो भी हुआ है. सो आई थिंक व्हेन ट्रस्ट स्टार्ट्स टू इरोड because of the silent treatment, problems will remain unresolved, assumptions replace the communication, emotional distance therefore grows, and then resentment starts building, right? You're now resenting the person for making you feel that way. So silence treatment may end that relationship, but it will rarely resolve the problem.
Yeah, because when they come back,
the problem is just still like a pink elephant in the room.
They don't even address it sometimes, right? I've seen this, husband and wife. It was always the wife would give a silent treatment, and they would never just resolve what was going on.
I think it's also important to understand कि ये होता क्यों है. So because as you said, couples therapy में होते हैं ऐसे cases. So sometimes they don't know how to express emotions. It could be their upbringing. It could be the experiences that they've had. They don't know how to express their emotions. They've just not had that kind of lifestyle. They fear confrontation. So this is a learned behavior in that sense.
Maybe they've seen it.
Yeah, grew up in homes sometimes where conflict was resolved in this way. So it's a learned, it's a learned tactic, and they believe that withdrawal is safer than vulnerability. Listen to that, very important. Withdrawal is safer than vulnerability, because expressing your vulnerability sometimes takes courage, and for resolving conflict, you need to be vulnerable at some times, and therefore then just withdrawing in this way, it's not so much that they're even punishing you. For you may think that, oh, I'm being punished, and maybe sometimes it is manipulation, but more often than not, sometimes it's also just they thinking of themselves, that I'm protecting me and my vulnerability. So as of right now, I'm not really thinking about how I'm making you feel. I'm just withdrawing because I feel it's safer for me. So I think those are important points to consider when dealing with
it. But that means that the relationship or the person is not important to you if you're not willing to.
Limited awareness.
Yeah.
Limited awareness again. See, because sometimes if you don't have that awareness, you're not really looking at a holistic picture. You're only looking at the person that's looking at you in the mirror.
There's an excellent quote which said, "Be careful what you ignore. One day it may stop knocking." Right?
Yeah.
All right, let's take our callers. And I dropped one call by mistake, so please do give us a call back. 9725019390. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
हाँ आयशा एंड तस्लीम, आप लोगों ने वही बातें की जो अभी मैं कहने वाली थी, बिकॉज आई नो ऑफ अ कपल जिनमें इतना साइलेंट ट्रीटमेंट था फ्रॉम वन ऑफ द पार्टनर्स कि किसी तरह से वो खुलने के लिए तैयार ही नहीं थी. तो उसके बाद रिलेशनशिप एंड हो गई विदाउट एनी आंसर्स और सोल्यूशन. और आगे चल के ये पता चला कि वो चाहती थी कि इस तरह से क्लाइमेक्स आ जाए, एंड ऑफ द रिलेशनशिप आ जाए, without justifying or without trying to solve the problem. दूसरा और के कपल, उन लोगों ने बातचीत की, solutions ढूंढे, and they got back together. कितना फर्क पड़ा, बातें हुई, month after month, they resolved it and they are together. And they are so grateful that they didn't continue on with the silent treatment. आप लोगों का ब्रेक का टाइम हो रहा है. Thank you for listening. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you for those points, SKFG. Yeah.
So now what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
अगर आपके साथ ऐसा हो रहा है, firstly तो अगर meaning if you feel unsafe, तो फिर तो बात ही कुछ अलग direction में जाती है. I'm not talking about that, but just generally, when you have this at a general level, I think don't chase this conversation, communication, relationship endlessly. Don't keep begging for communication. Stay calm. So important to not internalize this treatment as something you've done, as something you deserve, as something you need to rethink, overthink, that where have I gone wrong? What could I have done differently? Just stay calm. Try to distract yourself with other healthy distractions so that you're not rethinking and overthinking the situation. acknowledge what's happening. Many times we are just finding solutions of how I can stop this from happening. You're not accepting that this is happening to me and what's happening is not correct. So acknowledge what's happening. And then probably when you feel you're ready, safe, and ready, you can invite conversation respectfully. Sometimes that could be through a text message, because speaking to them directly is not an option. It could be through a phone call, it could be in person, whatever the situation may allow. But do that, protecting your own emotional well being. Say your piece, and then say it firmly, assertively, but with, how should I say, assertive by itself comes with that level of finality in your own voice, in the sense where I can see that you need some space. That's what I'm understanding from your silent treatment. I'm happy to talk when you're ready, but I won't continue, guessing what's wrong or trying to hash this on my own. So whenever you're ready, let me know, and until then I'll let you be. And then let the person be.
Yeah.
Don't keep knocking on that door endlessly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and patterns are extremely important. How about the person giving the silent treatment? And you've talked a little bit about the reasons why they do that.
Yeah, I think very important to first ask yourself is, are you giving yourself space or are you punishing the other person? It all boils down to this, because sometimes we are so caught up in our own lens of the world, in our own model of the world, that we're not really seeing how our actions, our behavior is impacting that other person, whoever that other person or persons are. So firstly, asking yourself that, am I being so cocooned in my own world that I am not recognizing the impact of emotional damage that I'm having on the others who care for me or in any way are involved in this situation? Am I protecting my peace or am I avoiding discomfort? Because many times when I've spoken to the person who is giving the silent treatment, I get, oh no, I was just maintaining peace.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a very skewed outlook, because maintaining peace also, when you are in a space of two or more, it requires two or more to agree to that. A solution can never be one person's solution. Like if I give you a solution, though, Aisha, 2-3 Wednesdays I'm going to talk to you, and you're like, do I get to decide in that? Or like, have you decided?
Yeah.
So you cannot decide when you're in an equation of two. It needs to be a solution both agree on. So am I protecting my peace or am I avoiding discomfort? And what am I hoping the other person understands without me saying it? Because that's what you're trying to do. You're hoping that by staying silent, this other person, my husband, is going to guess that I'm angry, that he did not allow me to buy extra chocolates at London airport. Abdullah, are you listening? No, but seriously, you're just assuming that, oh, मैं चुप हो गई तो वो समझ जाएंगे कि वो उस वजह से है जहाँ पे वो. It's not going to happen. You need to talk. The communication is the key to all problems. Truly it is. If we just take an honest moment and allow each other to feel heard and seen. So I feel that these are the things that if you ask yourself, if you're the one giving the silent treatment, is it peace or punishment? Am I protecting myself or am I avoiding discomfort? And third, what am I hoping this other person is going to understand without me even saying it?
And sometimes, we have these demons which advise us incorrectly, and we need to overcome them.
Yeah.
And realize that these are the demons that are, making us act in a certain way. And we can.
Healthy relationships will always communicate. Remember this, conflict होना ही है. अगर एक दो इंसान या एक फैमिली क्लोज हैं तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट तो होना ही है, बिकॉज डिफरेंट माइंडसेट्स है. सो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इज नॉट व्हाट ब्रेक्स रिलेशनशिप. पुअर रिपेयर डज. You need to get better at repair. The strongest relationships aren't those which do not have conflict. They are the ones where both people know how to repair and come back together. So I feel it's important to remember the word repair. रिपेयर करना ज़रूरी है. और उसमें जो मैंने आई थिंक पिछले काफ़ी शोज़ में कहा होगा ये You cannot get away without acknowledging how you made the other person feel. If you start with that, conflict repair gets so much easier. If I have hurt her, instead of me saying, यार मेरा ये intention ही नहीं था, तू क्यों ऐसा सोच रही है, नहीं सही है, मैं तो ऐसा, don't start with that. Start with, I am sorry, Aisha, I made you feel how you are feeling. It wasn't my intention. Then go into whatever your explanation is. That explanation could happen on the same day. It could happen 10 days later. Wait for the opportune moment. But sometimes saving the relationship is far more important than being right in the moment.
Ego.
Yeah.
Right? Wow. Definitely important and amazing information, because this is not just one theoretical thing that we're talking about. This happens in a lot of different relationships and households.
Yeah,
right?
So many.
Yeah. So how does one go about finding their voice?
खराटे voice क्या बोलते हैं उसको? खराटे नहीं, वो what is that gargling? उर्दू में क्या बोलते हैं?
खरारे.
खरारे.
गरारे.
गरारे लेके find your voice. I think most importantly, understanding the difference between being kind and people pleasing. वो बात आती है इसमें. I think a lot of us remain silent because we are people pleasers. We want कि लोग खुश रहें, लोग, people like us, that I'm likable, I'm such a good person, I'm so sweet. And in that, we stay silent because speaking up sometimes people may not like you for what you said, or people may not agree with you, or people may have a different point of view. And for people pleasers, that feels like conflict. So I think it's important to understand the difference. Kindness comes from choice. People pleasing comes from fear. When you're being kind and choose to stay silent, you're just actually choosing to be kind. But if you choose to be silent out of fear, then you're afraid that the other person may think of you in a certain way, and that falls under people pleasing. Learn to express needs instead of expecting others to guess them. I think just voicing जो मैं couples or families में देखती हूँ बहुत important है. Wives especially in this, where they assume that their husbands should know them. So please let's go past that और बता दो उनको क्या actually है. Don't think that they should know. Ask yourself, have I actually verbalized it? Have I actually told him? Remember one thing, that when you speak your truth, not everyone will agree. I think ये चीज हमारे culturally also हमारे अंदर है कि we feel कि सब लोग को हर चीज में, like how Instagram or therefore social media is so difficult for some people who for the trollers, because the trolls have no filter, and you are then you're thinking over there that how does everybody not like me? So when you are speaking your truth and you're putting yourself out there, whether it's social media or otherwise, a group conversation, a closed office door meeting, whatever it may be, remember that not everybody is going to agree with you, and that's okay. That makes you. That makes you an individual with individualized mindsets and strengths. So that's important. Also, replace apology with ownership. Many times I've heard people start their sentences with saying, I'm sorry, but can I add something here? Or I really can make it. I'm so sorry I cannot come. But what is happening on that? There's so much of apology, like you're apologizing for where you're coming from. I think it's really okay to say that I'd like to add something here. I have a different point of view. Can I share my perspective without having to apologize for it? What else in finding your voice?
Boundaries.
Big one.
Yeah.
Big one.
Setting boundaries is extremely important.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
saying
also,
no.
True. And also that people not know your boundaries if you've not verbalized them.
Yes.
So let people know your boundaries.
And I think when you speak your truth, then you have to speak it respectfully.
Yeah.
How you say things matters so much in getting your message heard, understood, and followed.
Yeah. That's what I agree with you on completely over there. Ki kindness and respect को नहीं भूलना है, but at the same time fearless और assertive भी बनना है. So वो एक practiced skill है. It's not something that will come overnight, especially if you're not that kind of person. But it's something that you can do by using I statements. Assertivity के लिए हमने I think assertiveness का शो किया है हमने शायद उसमें I feel or I would appreciate, I believe. I statements automatically make you sound assertive. So try and use more I statements. And when you need to say something difficult, there's a 3-step assertive communication model that we use in training sometimes. The first one is you describe the situation. So you say when da da da. So when I walked into the studio this morning, Aisha, you did not even look at me. You just put your handbag down and you just went to the kitchen to have a glass of water. I felt very hurt at that time because I was seeing you after 2 weeks and I was really looking forward to hugging you tight, which we actually did. So this is a made up scenario.
This is so not real.
Completely made up scenario, people. State your request. Therefore, I would appreciate that every Wednesday when I come in and when you come in, whoever comes in first or later, we hug each other really tight because that's what I look forward to every Wednesday. So this when, then I feel, and then I would appreciate. This model makes you sound assertive and at the same time it gives the whole scenario in a nutshell. So
I like it.
You can try to use it.
Yes, very nice. Going back to the point that Shahida ji raised, which is knowing when to stay silent, right?
Yeah.
And wisdom is knowing when not to speak.
Yeah, because not every thought I feel deserves a voice and not every battle deserves your energy. वो क्या है वो सिल्वी का favorite है शायद quote.
Not your monkey, not your circus.
Yeah, not my monkey, not my circus. So I feel staying silent is important when you yourself are emotionally flooded because you will speak out of emotion, and those things that you say out of emotion are usually things that we tend to regret. So anger, hurt, extreme frustration, when you're feeling all of this, pause. Pause first, speak later. Just practice the pause. You need to respond, remember, you don't need to react. And when you're in these high level emotions, you will react, and therefore practice the pause. When your words are not going to improve, कोई ऐसे इंसान होते हैं आप जितने भी, in fact अभी break में ही we were talking about this one text message I got on Facebook Messenger. So with these kind of people, there are some kind of individuals in our life, there's no reasoning with them. There is no explaining, there is no samjhawing, there is nothing. You've tried all of that. You've done it.
There is only blocking.
Yes, there is only blocking. So then you block.
Yes.
You just go ahead and you block and let that be the answer to that situation. So stay silent when your words, are not going to improve the situation. Stay silent when you're listening to someone who simply needs to be heard. Solution dene ke liye, please, taiyar mat baithna. A lot of times, like friends come to you, people come to you. I read a quote the other day which said, don't ask somebody to be strong when they've come to you to be weak. मैं मेरी vulnerability लेके आई हूँ to share with you. I know my solutions. I just want you to listen. At that time, I don't want to be told, Tasneem, be strong. Of all the people, you should always be strong. I don't want all of that.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm being vulnerable to share my inside heart and soul with you, then kind of stay silent at that time. Stay silent when your ego wants the last word. So important na. Sometimes hote na, especially school mein to bahut hota tha ye, till the last word. I hate you. I hate you 2, 3, no 4. I hate you infinity.
Oh my God.
What kind of school did you go to? But yeah, I think we need to control that ego inside us sometimes when fights and arguments where you feel that it becomes a match. And then that the ball goes from here to here and it's a ping pong match which someone has to get the last word. Stay silent in the face of gossip and negativity.
Very important.
आजकल की दुनिया में कितना होता है हमारी पार्टीज में और जहाँ हम जाते हैं वहाँ पे हर लोग कोई ना कोई किसी ना किसी की बैक बाइटिंग कर रहे होते हैं. इनफैक्ट this last 2 weeks where I was attending some religious sermons, and that's actually an internal promise that I made myself, is to walk away from situations where people gossip out of just that, that thing of tearing that person apart. I know sometimes close friends share. There's a difference between sharing and gossiping. It's a fine line. But nonetheless, if you're just tearing someone's character apart, I think we should stay away from those conversations, or speak up and stop them, but stay silent or walk away if you cannot. Stay silent long enough to understand before responding. I think listening, here I'm trying to talk about the art of listening. I think sometimes we are so quick to answer or speak up or give our point of view that we've not really heard the person. So hear the person out. Stay silent when someone else's emotions need space. There was a recent, I remember in a friend circle, there was a misunderstanding, but that person was just not ready to talk about it. Whereas the other person was very tayyar.
Yeah.
So she was like, "वो तो इतना भी नहीं दे रही है मुझे कि मुझसे बात कर ले." But sometimes people just need space. So give them that space. Of course, if that space becomes silent treatment, then we've already talked about that. But sometimes people need space, and give them that space. And lastly, I feel stay silent when you're speaking, when you're seeking clarity from within. I feel the best answers come, especially when making an important decision or sending that message. You've typed up this whole thing. I always pause. I let it rest, because when you come back to it after 4 or 5 hours, there'll always be some edits you want to make to that emotional rant or message or whatever it is that you're sending. Before you say yes, take a pause, stay silent. Before you say no, take a pause, stay silent. Basically, to sit with yourself first, connect with your soul, your value system, before doing any important decision making.
Wonderful. You have a poem?
I do. And this is a little long, so I was a little confused whether I should, but then I said, okay, let me go for it, because it's so, it ties up the show really well. So bear with me while I go through this. It's titled The Language of Silence. Silence isn't empty. It's where forgotten pieces gently return. It's where scattered thoughts find somewhere safe to rest, where a racing heart finds a quieter chest. It's where tears speak softly without making a sound, where lost parts of ourselves are so often found. For silence has never been the absence of voice. Sometimes it's simply the birthplace of choice. The choice to forgive before anger takes hold. The choice to let go of stories we've been told. The choice to stop chasing what never was ours and notice instead the strength in our scars. Yet, silence has shadows. We must also see. When fear steals our words, we no longer feel free. When I'm okay becomes all that we say, while pieces of us slowly fade away. So learn this one lesson and hold it with care. Not every silence is yours to bear. Be silent when peace needs protecting. Speak when truth needs respecting. Be silent when kindness is due. Speak when you're abandoning you. Because your voice was never created to echo the crowd. It was given to comfort, to challenge, to heal, and when needed, to speak out loud. And perhaps the greatest wisdom we'll ever acquire is knowing which moments need silence and which need fire. So may your words be thoughtful, never rushed. May your silence bring comfort, never hush. May your heart grow gentler, not small. May you find the courage to answer its call. For life's sweetest melodies are rarely defined by the loudest of voices. They are written in the quiet strength of your choices.
How beautiful, how utterly, utterly beautiful that is. And just your choice of words was so amazing.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah.